Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. Last week I showed you how to make the tile by tile earrings. When I originally made the component for that earring, I made two versions of it. And everybody at the shop kept looking at it and we kept trying to decide which version we liked better. Some people liked the version I showed you last week, and some people liked the other version that I made. So I said, well, let me go ahead and show all the beaders in the world both versions and let you guys decide which ones you like better. So today we are going to do the tile by tile earrings version 2.0. So to do these earrings, you're going to need two 10mm round beads, and these need to be an opaque or a solid color bead. Two 10 by 8mm teardrops, 16 3mm purple light, I'm using purple light bicones. You would need 8 4mm bicones, 8 tile beads, 8 super duo beads, 8 4mm round beads, 2 grams of a size 15 seed bead, 1 gram of a size 11 seed bead, 4 yards of fire line, and a pair of ear hooks. And you'll also need a size 12 beading needle. So these earrings are going to be a lot like last week's with some subtle changes. So I'm going to go ahead and get my needle threaded with 2 yards of fire line. Now you can use fire line, you can use sono thread, you can use 1G thread, whatever you want. Today I'm going to be using the beige 1G thread. So go ahead and get your mat set up and we'll get started. So to start, we're going to do exactly like we did in last week's video. We start with 115, 1 duo, 115, and 1 tile 4 total times. So you have 4 sets of duos and 4 sets of tiles. And you bring those down to the end of your thread and you go ahead and tie these beads into a circle. You don't want to reinforce this just like we did last week. We did it in the tie or the cobblestone bracelet, but you don't want to do this in the cobblestone earrings, or these little tile by tile earrings, I should say. So once you do this, this is what you've got. At this point, you want to take your needle and you are going to go through the 15 and the duo right next to the knot. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going through the holes I've already went through. And now I'm going to reverse the direction I'm going in, and I'm going to step up by going through the top hole of the super duo I'm already coming out of. So I'm coming back towards myself. Thread on 115 and go through the next tile bead. 115 and go through the next duo. And you're going to do this all the way around, picking up a 15 and going through the tile, a 15 through the duo. And what this is doing is as you work and you pull it tight, it's going to give you a 3-dimensional shape rather than a flat shape. And once you add the last 15 and you go through the duo, go ahead and continue on through the next 15 in that round, so that you have this 3-dimensional little box. I'm going to go ahead and take my cutters and I'm going to trim that tail so I don't have to deal with that anymore. From where you're coming out, you're going to pick up a 15, an 11, a 4mm round, an 11, and a 15. You are going to skip the tile bead and go through the next 15, super duo, and 15. And pull the thread. Turn, pick up a 15, an 11, a 4mm round, an 11, and a 15. Skip the tile, go through the next 15, duo, and 15. Pull the thread and turn it. 15, 11, 4mm round, 11, and 15. Skip the tile and go through the next 15, duo, and 15. And we're going to do this one more time. So we're going to pick up the 15, the 11, 4mm round, 11, and 15. Skip the tile and go through the 15, the duo, and the 15, and go ahead and pull that through. And then you're going to step up through the 15, the 11, and the 4mm round. So those are the first 3 beads that you added in this piece. And at this point you can see it's still wonky, and that's completely okay. You want to pick up an 11 and a 15. And right now you're coming out of the round bead, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the 15, the duo, and the 15 on this left side. Now I'm going to pick up a 15 and an 11. I'm coming out of the ones on the left side, so I'm going to take the needle and go through the 4mm round. Now it's an 11 and a 15, and I'm going to go through the 15, the duo, and the 15 on this left side. Then a 15 and an 11, go through the 4mm, then an 11 and a 15, and go through the 15, the duo, and the 15 on the left side, a 15 and an 11, and go through the 4mm, an 11 and a 15, and go through the 15, the duo, and the 15 on the left hand side. And then we have one set of beads left to add, so we're going to add the 15 and the 11 and go through the 4mm round. And once you get that completed, your piece will be a little bit stiffer, and now you will have little X shapes all the way around. So just like last week, I'm going to continue on through the 11 and 2 15s right after the bead I'm coming out of. Doesn't matter if you go to the right or to the left, but whichever direction, this is going to become the back of my piece. So from where I'm at right now, I'm going to pick up 5 15s. I'm going to skip the duo, and I'm going to go through the 15, the tile, and the 15. Now you can try to get all 3 at one time, but you may not be able to. Like that time I was able to get through 2 beads. So I'm going to go through those 2, and then I'm going to jump through that next size 15 seed bead. And you want to do that 3 more times, so 1, 2, and 3. And once you add the third one, just like last week, you are going to continue through and step up through the first 3 15s that you added in the round. So now I've gone all the way around with my embellishments, and I have stepped up through the first 3 15s that I added in that set of 5. Now I'm going to connect these together. So I'm going to pick up 3 15s. And I'm going to take my needle and go through the middle 15 of the next set of 5. And you're going to do that all the way around, picking up 3, going through the middle bead of the next set of 5. And as you do this, start to pull so that those sets of 5 will pull down. And once you get back to the beginning and you go through that first bead again, it's not going to be tight. You can see right here, it looks like a hot mess. But to fix that, you are going to go through that row of beads again. And as you do, you want to pull the beads tight. So now I've gone around and I've pulled it tight and it looks much better. I'm going to continue through the next 2 beads in my set of 5 here. And then I'm going to stitch through 2 15s and the 11 through the 4mm round in my corner, and then through an 11 and 2 15s. And you want to do your loops of 5 at each duo and then step up through the first 3 15s that you added, just like we did on the back. But do not do this step right here. Do not connect them. You just want your steps of 5. So now I've gone all the way around with my little points of 5, and I've stepped up through those first 3 beads that I added in this round. I'm going to grab my 10mm round here. I'm going to pick it up, and my thread is coming out to the right of this bead. So I'm going to go directly across from where I'm coming out, and I'm going to go through that point bead going from right to left. And I'm going to pull that on through, and that bead will pop right in the middle. Go back down through the bead you just added. I'm going to put my finger there to hold it into place. And then I'm going to go through the bead that I was originally coming out of here, and I'm going to go through it from left to right, or if I hold it like this, down to up, and pull that thread nice and tight. Pick up 6 15s. Take the needle and go through the middle bead of the next point. Then 6 15s, and go through the middle bead of the next point. I'm going to do that twice more. And when I go through this last middle bead here in that very first point that I went through, I'm going to, you can do this 2 ways. You can either do this right now, you can go back through all of these beads again, or you can wait until we add the embellishments. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this step, just going back through and reinforcing this step one more time. Now when I get back to that original bead, that point bead that I was coming out of, I'm going to continue on through 4 more 15. So these are the first 4 15s that I added in that set of 6. I'm going to thread on a 15, a 3mm bicone, and a 15. My thread is exiting out to the right, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the 4mm round going from right to left. And pull, and that bead pops into place. Now a 15, a 3mm, and a 15. And this time I'm going to go through the last 2 15s that I went through in that set of 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to come back through those last 2. So I'm going from left to right in that section and pull that nice and tight. So I'm going to continue through the next 7 beads. So I've got 2 left in the round, and then my point bead. So that's 3. And then through the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to add these embellishments just like I did here. I'm going to add these in the other 3 corners. Now I have the embellishments in all 4 corners. And I'm going to go ahead, and I was coming out of these last 2 beads here to make my little connector beads. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch through the 15, the 3mm, and the 15 right above where my thread's at, and then through the 4mm round. Now up until this point, your component looks exactly the same as it did last week. But here is where we're going to get difference. Instead of hanging at a corner like this, our earring is going to hang at a square. So to start that, we're going to pick up a 15, an 11, a 4mm bicone, an 11, a 4mm bicone, an 11, and a 15. My thread is coming out of the left hand 4mm round, so I'm going to come right across to the next 4mm round, so it's the one on my right, and I'm going to go through that 1 bead. So it's going to make a little arch like this. Now when I turn and look at the side, I'm going to take my needle, and on this right hand side here, I'm going to go through the 11 and the 15 on that right hand side. Pick up 2 15s, 1 11, and 2 15s. You are going to skip the 15, the tile, and the 15, and then go through the 15 and 11 that are on that right side, the same side that we were coming out on. So it's going to make a little peacoat. Go through the 4mm round, and now you're going to pick up a 15, an 11, a 4mm bicone, and 3 11s. Now you'll need your teardrop. You're going to go through the teardrop, going through the skinny side first, and then 1 11. And you're going to let those drop all the way down. I'm going to skip the 11, and I'm going to go back up through the teardrop and 1 11. I'm going to hold it and pull that thread. Now pick up 2 11s, a 4mm bicone, an 11, and a 15. I'm going to skip all of this and go through the next 4mm round. So that now it gives me my teardrop. I'm going to continue on through the 11 and the 15 that's on that left side right after the 4mm round and pull it through. Pick up 2 15s, an 11, and 2 15s. Skip a 15, a duo, and a 15, and then go through the next 15, 11, and then I can get through that 4mm round also. And again, that's going to make another little peacoat on the side. So right now you have 2 little peacoats that are pointing kind of towards the back. Continue on through the 11, or the 15, the 11, the 4mm, and the 11. Thread on 6 15s. Right now my thread is coming out to the right, so I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to go through that bead from left to right so that it makes a circle. I'm going to go through that circle of beads again to reinforce it. And then through the 11. One more time. Continue on through the 4mm, the 11, the 15, and then the 4mm round. So you have added the little earring loop and you've reinforced that all in kind of like one step. Now, the first time we went around, we went through the 11 and the 15 on the right hand side. This time we're going to go through the 11 and the 15 on the left hand side after that 4mm round. Pick up 2 15s and go through the middle 11 of that peacoat you added in the previous round and pull. Now 2 15s and go through the 15 and the 11 that's on this left hand side, so it's on the same side that you started with there. And when you pull tight, you can see the X shape, and that brings that little peacoat now, instead of laying back here, it puts it directly over that super duo that you've got. You want to go through the 4mm round, go through all of these to reinforce here, and then stitch through the 4mm round and then the 11 and the 15 on this other side. So we're coming around to reinforce, going through the 4mm round, and then coming out of the 11 and the 15. Now that I've reinforced, I'm over to the side that I need to, and I'm coming out of the 11 and the 15 on this right hand side of the 4mm round. Pick up 2 15s and go through the middle 11 of that point you added in the previous round. Now 2 11s and go through the 15 and the 11 to the right, right before the 4mm round. And just like on the other side, now you can see that X shape, and it brings that peacoat up to the side of the earring. At this point, you have completed the first component of the earring, and you will tie this thread off and trim the tails. Once you have the threads tied off, all that's left to do is attach your ear hook. So you'll just open the ear loop, good grief, attach it to the loop at the top, and then close the ear hook so that now you have your earring. And then you would repeat that for the second earring. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the second version of the tile by tile earrings. We do have the new pattern for sale on our website, which is off the beadedpathbeadstore.com, and we have this the color sample I showed you today, as well as a purple version of this earring that will be available in a kit. And again, you can find those at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Now come back for the next video, because I'm going to show you how to take this same component and make it into a fun ring that can go with your set. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.